Ladies and gentlemen, to kick things off today, America's Golden Dream Dancers.
Thank you very much, American Golden Dream Dancers, for a wonderful performance. On behalf of the D-Day Anniversary Committee, we welcome you to the Liberation Memorial Ceremony, here at historic Utah Beach, where 81 years ago, history was forever changed. We gather here today not only to commemorate the courage and the sacrifice of the Allied forces who stormed these sands, but to honor the enduring spirit of freedom and unity they fought to preserve. Merci merci aux America's Golden Dream Dancers pour les merveilleuses prestations. Au nom du comité d'anniversaire du jour J, D-Day, nous vous souhaitons la bienvenue à la cérémonie commémorative du mémorial de la libération, ici à la plage historique de Utah Beach, où il y a 81 ans, l'histoire a été changée pour toujours. Nous sommes réunis ici aujourd'hui, non seulement pour commémorer le courage et le sacrifice des forces alliées qui ont pris d'assaut des plages, mais aussi pour honorer l'esprit durable de liberté, de l'unité qu'elles sont efforcées de préserver. This beach is more than a battlefield. It's a symbol of resilience, a testament to bravery, and a silent witness to the price of peace. We remember those who gave their lives, those who returned forever changed, and the generations they secured with their valor. Cette plage est plus qu'un champ de bataille. C'est un symbole de résilience, un témoignage de bravoure et un témoin silencieux du prix de la paix. Nous nous souvenons de ceux qui ont donné leur vie, de ceux qui sont revenus changés à jamais, et des générations qu'ils ont protégées par leur courage. As we enjoy the music and dance presented here today by some of America's outstanding performing ensembles, let us recommit ourselves to the values of our valiant soldiers, defended liberty, democracy, and the shared hope of a peaceful world. Alors que nous apprécions la musique et la danse présentées ici aujourd'hui par certains ensembles des États-Unis, laissons-nous réengager aux valeurs que nos soldats ont défendues: la liberté, la démocratie et l'espoir partagé du monde pacifique. We are joined here today by the Honorable Mayor of Sainte-Marie-du-Mont, Monsieur Charles de Valavieille, who will now have the privilege of hearing from him. Now we have the privilege to hearing from him. Nous sommes rejoints aujourd'hui par l'honorable maire de Sainte-Marie du Mont, Monsieur Charles de Valavieille. Nous allons maintenant avoir le privilège de l'entendre. Monsieur le maire, bienvenue et allez-y. Ici, c'est mieux de vous mettre ici.
Thank you. Bienvenue à vous tous. Merci d'être là pour cette commémoration différente, ouverte aux jeunes et avec des jeunes, dans ce lieu symbolique.
Welcome to you all. Thank you for being here for this special commemoration, open to young people and with young people in this symbolic place.
À votre âge, je venais avec ma famille aux cérémonies du 6 juin et j'en ai des souvenirs précis. Mon père était le maire dès 1949. Toute ma famille avait beaucoup souffert de la guerre. Mon père avait été grièvement blessé le 6 juin. Ses deux frères officiers avaient été tués en 1940 à l'arrivée des Allemands. C'était un sujet qui n'était pas évoqué, ou très peu, mais très difficile de parler de cela. Cette ambiance particulière a fait que nous avions dans ma famille une approche différente du respect de tous les sacrifices consentis par les vétérans. Le témoignage des vétérans et civils m'ont beaucoup marqué et influence et continue d'influencer ma vie.
When I was young, I used to come with my family to the ceremonies on the June 6th, and I have vivid memories of them. My father was mayor from 1949, and my whole family had suffered a lot during the war. My father was seriously wounded on 6th of June, and his two brothers, both officers, were killed in 1940 when the Germans arrived. It was a subject that wasn't talked about, or very little, because it was very difficult to talk about. This particular atmosphere meant that in my family we had a different approach to respecting all the sacrifices made by the veterans. The testimonies of veterans and civilians made a big impression on me and have influenced and continue to influence my life.
J'accorde beaucoup d'importance à la transmission de la mémoire dans le respect. Étant le responsable du musée que vous allez découvrir après ce moment, vous allez comprendre quelle organisation extraordinaire a été le débarquement, ici à Utah, sur le plan militaire que technique. Nous le devons à des officiers américains expérimentés, qui étaient avec et au milieu de leurs hommes. Cette mémoire est vivante, car même après 81 ans, nous apprenons toujours de nouvelles choses, de nouveaux détails. Autour de vous, ces monuments sont dédiés aux différentes unités ou divisions débarquées ici. Ils ont été, pour la grande majorité, érigés par souscription des vétérans et aujourd'hui nous en avons la charge, mais surtout la charge de transmission. Pourquoi ils sont là et pour quelles raisons?
I attach great importance to the respectful transmission of memory. As the person in charge of the museum you will be visiting after the ceremony, you will discover the extraordinary organization of the D-Day landings here in Utah, both militarily and technically. We owe it to the experienced American officers who were with and among their men. This memory is alive because after 81 years we are still learning new things, new details. All around you, these monuments are dedicated to the various units of divisions that landed here. The vast majority of them were erected by subscription from veterans. And today we have a task of passing on the message of why they are and for what, of why they are here and for what reasons.
Nous essayons de transmettre et d'expliquer au mieux. N'oublions jamais à qui nous devons la paix et la chance de cette paix. Que vous soyez présents aujourd'hui est une grande joie. Merci et vous serez toujours les bienvenus à Utah Beach.
We try to convey and explain as best we can, never forgetting to whom we owe peace and the change of that peace. It's a great joy that you are here today. Thank you, and you will always be welcome at Utah Beach. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much. We invite you to please stand for the presentation of the national anthems of France and the United States, performed by the D-Day Mass Band, comprised of all the American D-Day Band, the Alamo City Band, and the New York Police Department Band, under the direction of Colonel Jim R. Keane. Merci, Monsieur le Maire. Nous vous invitons à vous lever pour la présentation des hymnes nationaux de la France et des États-Unis interprétés par le D-Day Masked Band composé du All-American Day Band, du Alamo City Band et du New York Police Department Band sous la direction du colonel Jim R. Keane. Thank you very much. We are pleased to hear from two great Americans, Cadet Captain Sadie Couch and Colonel Jim R. Keane. Our first speaker represents the rising generation. She's a senior at Oregon City High School. She has admirably completed 3 years of Army GROTC. She is receiving an honors diploma. After high school, she will be joining the Marine Corps Reserve. After basic and combat training and schoolhouse, she will be joining the PLC Platoon's leader class to become an officer. Her father served for years in the US Air Force. Her great-grandfather served World War II in the US Army. Nous avons le plaisir d'entendre deux grands Américains, le capitaine cadet Sadie Couch et Colonel Jim R. Keane. He's here somewhere. Notre première intervenante représente la génération montante. Elle est en dernière année du lycée d'Oregon City. Elle a admirablement suivi les 3 années au programme GROTC de l'armée. Elle reçoit un diplôme avec mention. Après le lycée, elle rejoindra le Marine Corps Reserve. Après l'entraînement de base, elle rejoindra le PLC Platoon's Leader Class pour devenir officier. Son père a servi pendant 4 années dans l'armée de l'air américaine. Son arrière-grand-père a servi pendant la Deuxième Guerre mondiale dans l'armée américaine. She will then be followed by Colonel Jim R. Keane. Colonel Keane was a commander of the US Army Field Band. The US Military Academy Band. Commander of the Army School of Music, and served the United States Army Band Pershing's Own, the US Army Europe Band and the chorus in Heidelberg, Germany, and the ground forces in Atlanta. Elle sera suivie par le colonel Jim R. Keane. Le colonel Keane a été commandant de l'orchestre de campagne de l'armée américaine, de l'orchestre de l'Académie militaire américaine, commandant de l'école de musique de l'armée et servi l'orchestre de l'armée américaine Pershing's Own. L'orchestre et le chœur de l'armée américaine en Europe à Heidelberg, en Allemagne, et l'orchestre des forces terrestres à Atlanta. Keane led thousands of performances in 47 states, 7 countries, including 6 US presidents. He led multiple televised productions, earned a Grammy Award in 2022. Keane led the Joint Forces Chorus at the G.H.W. Bush Memorial Service and interments of Presidents Ronald Reagan and Gerald R. Ford. He conducted the Dallas Wind Symphony, the Detroit Symphony, the Boston Pops Orchestra, the New York Philharmonic and the New York Philharmonic Brass. He led the Japan Central Band and performed with Ray Charles. His recording with the Army Field Band Soundtrack of the American Soldier won a Grammy Award in 2022. Keane a dirigé des milliers de représentations dans 47 États et 7 pays, y compris pour les 6 présidents des États-Unis. Il a dirigé de nombreuses productions télévisées et a reçu un Grammy Award en 2022. Il a dirigé le Joint Forces Chorus de la cérémonie commémorative de George W. Bush et des enterrements des présidents Ronald Reagan et Gerald R. Ford. Il a dirigé le Dallas Wind Symphony, le Detroit Symphony, le Boston Pops Orchestra, the New York Philharmonic and the New York Philharmonic Brass. Il a dirigé le Japon Central Band et s'est produit avec Ray Charles. Son enregistrement avec l'armée Field Band, Soundtrack of the American Soldier, a remporté le Grammy Award en 2022. I give the floor to Captain Sandy Couch.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cadet Captain Sadie Couch, and I'm a member of the United States Army Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps at Oregon City High School in Oregon, United States of America. Thank you for having me and my fellow cadets here on these sacred grounds of Normandy, France. Today, we remember the young men of the Allied forces who crossed stormy seas and leapt into the unknown, not for conquest, but for liberation. They came from towns and cities like yours and mine, many of them barely older than I am now. Fresh out of high school, and some even younger than that, they chose personal sacrifice to serve something greater than themselves, to protect our shared values of liberty, equality, and fraternity. As an American student, we learn about the Allied invasion of Normandy on D-Day, but we don't often hear about the organization and assistance of the French resistance, the Maquis. For years, the Nazi occupation, men and women of the resistance conducted guerrilla warfare, published underground newspapers, and provided first-hand intelligence and facilitated escape networks for the Allied soldiers and airmen. They risked their lives and the lives of everybody that they cared about to defend France and provide information to the Allied forces. They were willing to take on any punishment, knowing that their work meant another step toward liberation. The support and collaboration of the resistance were crucial to the Allied invasion and liberation of France and the end of World War II. In the United States Army Junior ROTC, we're taught the core values of the Army: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. These values inspire us as cadets to be better citizens, to fight for what's right. The Allied forces fought for our freedom and liberty, and those are our responsibility to preserve. To me, preserving liberty means ensuring that everyone in our society gets the same opportunities to build a life they choose. Remembering that individual freedoms must be defended in everyday life, not just on battlefields, is essential to the growth of our nations. We honor the legacy of those who served before us by living with integrity and purpose. W.E.B. Du Bois was the first African American to earn a PhD from Harvard University, a founding member of the NAACP, an American civil rights organization whose mission is to secure equality of rights for all people and to eliminate racial discrimination. Du Bois stated, "The cost of liberty is less than the price of oppression." The effects of living under oppression are far more costly than the challenges and demands of the fight for freedom. The members of the French resistance and the Allied forces believed this also, and were willing to sacrifice everything for liberation. It's now our turn to carry the torch. The mission didn't end on June 6th, it lives on in us, in how we serve, how we lead, and how we remember. The beaches we stand on, Omaha, Utah, Juneau, Gold, and Sword, became places where ordinary soldiers did extraordinary things. Those who landed here helped give us a world where we could speak freely, choose our leaders, and dream without fear. Freedom is not free. It is bought with sacrifice, guarded with vigilance, and preserved with responsibility. Many of these soldiers paid the highest price for freedom, their lives, and that price should never be forgotten. These brave men didn't know the people they were liberating, but they believed freedom was worth the fight. Today, let us not only mourn their loss, but honor their legacy. Let us remember that freedom is not inherited, it is earned, nurtured, and protected, and let us be worthy of their sacrifice. Thank you.
Bonjour, Monsieur, Dames, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mayor. Some of us who are participating in today's events went to Arromanches yesterday, and we saw the presentation, powerful film, filmed in 360 degrees of what happened there on those beaches, on these beaches, in the early morning of June 6th of 1944 and the following days and months. And it occurred to me that we were kind of far removed. We have been protected by that great generation that served. We couldn't fully understand how terrible that battlefield truly was. American author Stephen Ambrose said that what happened here on D-Day, soldiers knew the difference between right and wrong. And they didn't want to live in a world in which wrong prevailed. So they fought and won. And we, all of us, living and yet to be born, must forever be profoundly grateful. Just a couple of days ago, this group over here, the high school All-American D-Day Band, they assembled and they offered music and laid a wreath at the National World War II Memorial at Washington, D.C. You know, in this group formed by young Americans from different states and backgrounds and beliefs. And you know, it's amazing to consider that all were about the same age as those who fought right here on this sacred ground. They came to honor and just to say that they had been there, like Kilroy. As a retired soldier, after walking these beaches just a bit and the battlefields for the first time, I am grateful to better understand, in some small way, the prayer shared by those who served and their families, specifically for peace. Because it is the ones who serve who have to bear the scars and burdens of war, as General Douglas MacArthur once said. We are also moved by this place, America's oldest ally, France. To see and meet the people of this area, many of them who speak our language as well as we speak it. And they speak about 3 other languages too. It's humbling to be around these folks. Today we are all privileged to remember and feel the sacrifice of such terrible death and destruction like what happened here just about 81 years ago. And as American President Harry Truman once described, they fought together as brothers in arms and they died together. And now they sleep side by side. To them we have a solemn obligation.
Thank you for your inspiring words. We invite you to please stand for a wreath-laying ceremony presented by the Alaska Honor Platoon and hymn to the Forum presented by the Honor Band and Choir. They will be followed by Amazing Grace, performed by the Utah Pipes, drums, and then taps by the All-American Band. Nous vous remercions pour vos paroles inspirantes. Nous vous invitons à vous lever pour une cérémonie de dépôt déjà présentée par l'Alaska Honor Platoon en Ende. To the fold, présentée par notre Honor Band en Choral. Ils seront suivis par Amazing Grace, interprété par the Utah Pipes and Drums, Free Part Taps, interprété par the All American Band. Thank you very much. And to start with the first taps you heard in the beginning, this was conducted by the Colonel James Keen again. So big applause for him. After that, you heard our lonely bagpiper Greg Kim. I think he disappeared, but he was standing up there, and he's coming all the way from Hawaii. Sorry, small mistake. Honolulu. After that, we heard the All-American Community Choir, and conducted by or directed by Bob Huntington. And we are now about to hear from the Borderline Dance Group, in combination with the West Coast Country Heat soloist. Oh, it's a whole group of people. Okay. Thank you.
One step backwards. Mark.
I was there in the winter of '64 when we camped in the ice at Nashville's door. 300 miles on trailhead there. We barely had time to bury our dead. When the Yankees charged and the colors fell, Overton Hill was a living hell. When we called retreat, it was almost dawn. I died with a grape shot in my heart. Say a prayer for peace, for every fallen sun. Set my spirit free. Let me lay down my sweet Mother Mary, I'm so tired, but I can't go home till the last shot's fired. In June of 1944, blood of Omaha shore. 21 and scared to death, my heart pounding in my chest. I almost made the first seawall. My friends turned and saw me fall. Still smell the smoke, I can taste the mud, as I lay there dying from a loss of love. Say a prayer for peace, for every fallen sun. Set my spirit free. Lay down my
thanks. Great listening. Mr. Joel Biggs, the chairman of the D-Day Memorial Ceremony and Parade and president of Historic Programs, will now address us. After which we will conclude this ceremony with a performance by the New York Police Department Pipes and Drums. Monsieur Joel Biggs, le président de la cérémonie du défilé du Memorial du jour dit et le président du programme historique vont maintenant s'adresser à nous, après quoi nous conclurons cette cérémonie par une présentation des cornemuses et tambours du département de la police de New York, NYPD.
Thank you. It's good to be with you. For a minute there, I thought I saw a little blue sky, but then it went away. I was sitting there, the mayor pointed out this memorial over here. It's a memorial in honor of liberators, the American liberators, the fallen, and he said that the T and the O represents Texas and Ohio. It's probably appropriate that we have cowboy hats over there. Today we gather on sacred ground. 81 years ago, this quiet shoreline here at Utah Beach was anything but quiet. It was a storm of courage, chaos, and conviction. Young Americans surged forward into history not for conquest, but for liberation. Many never returned home, and yet because of them, Europe was freed and democracy endured. At Historic Programs, we say we come to them because they never came home. Before I go any further, I want to take a moment just to tell the mayor thank you for being here. We appreciate his hospitality, his friendship, and at this time I'd like to present him with what we call a History Maker medallion. On the back and on the front of this medallion is a embossed statue. It's the same statue that you see at the Normandy American Cemetery. It's called the Spirit of American Youth Rising from the Waves. And on the front it says, serve, honor, unify, educate, and inspire. On the back it says, one who represents the spirit of America through selfless service and whose influence affects positive change in the world. Now I'm going to be presenting this to the good mayor at this time, but each one of our participants who came all the way from the United States to perform are going to be receiving one of these as well, as a reminder of your experience here and the expectation that we want you to go home as history makers and be a good influence to those around you. So at this moment, I'd like to invite the mayor to please stand, and I'll present him with this medallion.
Thank you for this special time. Thank you for this wonderful ceremony. I am sorry for the running. It's not my responsibility.
You know, I like to say the two most important words in the English language are thank you. And we cannot do enough to thank you for making the effort to be here to honor our fallen, to honor those that serve. Thank you for all that you do. And of course, we do thank, of course, those whose service and sacrifice preserve freedom and liberty, not only here in Europe, but around the world. We'll always remember. we're going to do one last thing. I think this is a special treat. It's not often that we get to be here right on Utah Beach. And it's also not often that we are on Utah Beach with the Utah Pipes and Drums, who were here with us last year. They also agreed to be here with us this year, so I think it's appropriate. One thing I'd like to do, this is an invitation for anybody that would like to join us. Our JRO2C platoons are going to be going down to the beach, directly out here to the left and then down a path to the beach. And I would invite the Utah Pipes and Drums to come down to the sand as well, on the very sand, on the beach, where our forces stormed to liberate France from Nazi tyranny. And I think it would be very special to conclude this with Amazing Grace once more, provided by the Utah Pipes and Drums, with anybody that wants to stand and enjoy that. So at this time, we'll dismiss our platoons. They'll go right down the center here, and anybody that would like to follow them can.
Attention! Right, right. Mount from left, forward, march.